What's going on, it's Barney here, back at it with another video, and welcome back to Proving Autos. Today guys, you join me for a rather long and special video, something that has definitely taken quite a bit of planning and preparation. Now, I used to watch a lot of Top Gear back in the day and always been inspired by some of the original Top Gear challenges. And of course, when I say Top Gear, I'm of course on about the Clarkson, Hammond and May era. So, with that in mind, I'm going to be driving my F22 BMW M240i from here in Grimsby, 430 miles that way down to Land's End in Cornwall. Now, as a lot of you guys will be aware, this car is equipped with the legendary 3 litre 6-cylinder B58 engine. So what I'm actually going to be attempting tomorrow is to get this car 430 miles down to Land's End on just one tank of fuel. Right, let's get the door shut, let's get that music off. Actually, I'm going to put them windows down because it's absolutely baking. Such a lovely day. No doubt, as soon as we get on the road tomorrow, no doubt it'll be absolutely bombing it down with rain again. Typical British weather, but anyway, I suppose I've just realised I should probably explain a little bit more about the journey and exactly how the challenge is going to go down. Now, 430 miles doesn't sound like a great deal. You guys probably thinking that's easy. Bearing in mind, this car's got a 3 litre 6-cylinder engine, so it's going to be far from easy, I think. And the thing is as well, I'm not going to make this challenge easy on myself. So with that said, there's going to be 4 rules which I'm going to implement into the challenge just to spice things up a little bit, just to make it, as I say, a bit more of a challenge. So rule number 1 is that I have to try and stick to motorway speeds. So of course, if the speed limit's 70 miles an hour, I'm not going to cheat and sit behind HGVs. You know, I'm not going to cheat and sit at 50, 60 miles an hour the entire way there. So basically, if the speed limit is 70 miles per hour, we have to stick to 70 miles per hour and try not to drop below it when it's safe to do so, obviously. Now, of course, if we get a low speed limit, of course, we will adhere to them speeds. Okay, so rule number 2 is that I have to use the car as I normally would. Now, I'm the type of guy, I like to have the aircon on, I like to have a bit of fresh air coming into the car by putting the windows down. So yeah, I have to use the car as I normally would, so I'm not going to turn the aircon off or anything like that to try and save fuel. And that brings me on to rule number 3, and that is I am not to use eco mode on the car. Now, of course, I could put the car into Eco Pro. That, of course, puts the car into the most fuel efficient state, but we're not going to do that. I do draw the line, however, at putting the car into sport. I do think that if we put the car in anything other than comfort, I think that is going to be a bit of a step too far, I think. And rule number 4 is that I have to stop at least 3 times along the way. All these rules just mean that I use a little bit more fuel, and just makes it just that little bit more difficult, because that's what challenges are all about, right? They're not meant to be easy. It's going to be interesting. Like, and I don't know if it's actually possible, but fingers crossed. So I suppose some of the factors then is that there's not just me that's going down. There's going to be me and a friend coming down as well with me. He's coming down to help me do a little bit of filming. So with that, there's going to be obviously a couple of bags each. One bag apiece, sorry. Enough clothes and supplies in there, obviously, for a 2-night trip. And of course, I'm going to have a tyre compressor in there, just should we have a tyre issue down the line. I don't have a spare wheel though, so if we get a blowout or anything like that, then we're definitely a bit stuck. And last but not least, we're also going to have a couple of jerry cans in the car as well, so 10 litres of fuel should things go badly. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the challenge. I think it's definitely going to be interesting. Put it that way. But actually, having a look at the route then, let me show you. So the actual starting point is going to be Tesco in Cleethorpes. So yeah, there's 2 or 3 routes that we could potentially take. One of them is to stick to the motorway, so M180, M18, M1, M42 down to Birmingham, and then take the M5 down to Bristol, and then A30 pretty much all the way across up to Land's End. That's one way of doing it. Another way would be to go via Lincoln down the A46, and then M69, M6, and then M42, and take the M5 that way. Or another one which is suggesting is to go all the way over to Manchester and then down the M6. Yeah, we're going to avoid that one. But I'm thinking that we're probably going to. I think we're probably going to take M180, M18, M1. I think that's probably the. I reckon that's probably the best way of doing it. So I suppose, what do we actually need to get out of the car then, miles per gallon wise? But to add insult to injury, this car has only got a 52 litre fuel tank. That's definitely smaller of a normal car of this type. So so that is so 52 litres, that's about 11.4 gallons. So if we take that route that I was saying about, that's this is saying exactly 430 miles. Now I think it could be 426. I think it's trying to avoid, obviously we don't know till tomorrow. I think by the looks of it, it's trying to avoid some congestion on the A30. I was looking earlier, I'm sure that was like that then as well. So it might be exactly 430. So let's base it on that. So 430 miles, obviously 11.4 gallons. So based on that, we're going to have to average 37.8 mpg throughout the entire journey. Now, of course, anything could happen. You know, I do think if we get a major hold up, then it's game over. However, I do think if we get a clear run, you know, we get very minimal traffic, and we don't run into any problems, then you know, I'm pretty confident. I'm not going to lie, but who knows? Absolutist. Who knows? But fingers crossed. I guess we'll just find out tomorrow. Anyway, I think I'm going to go and enjoy some of this lovely British weather. Might stay outside for a little bit actually. Make the most of it, and yeah, I'll catch up with you guys in the morning. Well, good morning everyone. So yes, today is the day of the challenge. Now, typical sod's law, what I said yesterday, today it will be absolutely throwing it down, and yes, it is. Brilliant. So I do hope it gets somewhat sunny. So yeah, one last thing to do. We've fueled ourselves up with breakfast, but now we need to go and fuel the car, because I don't think, well, 162 miles might get us as far as Birmingham. Now, just having a look at the route again this morning, I do think we are going to still take the mostly motorway route, M180, M18, down the M1, then down the M42, then M5 to Exeter, and then A30, pretty much all the way across to Land's End. So yeah, 426 miles, I think, from the Tesco at Hewitt Circus in Cleethorpes, where we're about to fill up from. So yeah, anything could happen. One thing that is causing me a slight little bit concerned, I was looking again this morning, and it looks like that traffic I was saying about on the A30 still seems to be some sort of hold up down there. So I think we're going to have to play that by ear. I can only imagine it's major roadworks, because I think it was shut over the weekend. So we're going to have to try and avoid that if we can, because yeah, if we get stuck in that, that's that ain't going to be good. That is the last acceleration of the day. Certainly not going to be doing that again. Okay, this is it. Okay, Tesco 99, that's what we're using. Okay, we need to get as much fuel into the car as we possibly can. And that is what you call a full tank of petrol. That is full. Right, okay, tank is absolutely filled to the brim. Right, just a couple of things left to do. I'm just going to reset the mileometer trip, and I'm also going to go into onboard computer fuel consumption. I'm just going to reset that. Same with average speed, and I'm also going to go into trip computer. I'm going to turn auto reset off and just hit reset all values. Okay, this is it. Start the car in 3, 2, 1. I'm going to go and brake off. Let's go straight away. Right, now, everything I do now matters. Oh, and I'm already having to wait for a car. No! Okay, so, current range, we have 427 miles to go. According to the onboard computer, we're going to be out of fuel in 360 miles. So, now of course, bearing in mind that is based on my previous driving, so a lot of stop-start town stuff like that. So as we drive gently, that will of course increase. 21 miles to the gallon at the minute. At this rate, we're probably going to make Derby. Right, obviously the aim is to accelerate as smoothly as possible and try not to do any unnecessary braking. Come on lights, come on, change. Don't make me stop. We're going to have to stop. Damn it. Oh yeah, now you change as soon as I come to a halt nearly. So we're out of town now, we're on the motorway, we're exactly 31 minutes into the journey, and I'm actually very surprised. We are, as you can see on the dash at the minute, we are currently averaging 40.1 mpg. That is, 40.4 actually now. We just went up a little bit there, so we have lost a little bit, but Oh yeah, so far so good. At the minute, based on numbers alone, it's looking like we are going to make it to Land's End with a bit of fuel to spare. Now, it is early days, bearing in mind we have still got to stop 3 times. We are going to do that probably in about an hour and a half's time. So yeah, we've got to make 3 stops. That's obviously one of the rules that I've implemented into the challenge, just to make it a bit more, just to make things a bit more difficult. That's all. So, but yeah, at the minute we're looking good. At the minute we have current range is, if I have a look on here, 388 miles. Bearing in mind we started on 360, and we've got 399 miles left to run. So yeah, if that keeps rising, we are going to exceed the remaining distance very soon, if that makes sense. So yeah, I guess we'll do a bit more of this, and I'll update you guys in a little bit. Can tell, but well, you join us on the M1 in the absolute pouring rain. It's literally been like this pretty much since we got on the M180, to be fair. It's just been like this the entire way. So anyway, where we're at now, so we have got 359 miles left to run, and according to the range, we have got 415 miles left in the tank. So at this rate, yeah, we're going to make Land's End with 50 odd miles to spare. So that is amazing. I mean, yeah, anything could happen. We have, as I say, we've still got 360 odd miles left, so anything could happen. Man, it's just aquaplaning all over the place. Yeah, I know we said we've got to stick to 70 miles an hour, but it's just not quite safe enough to be doing that at the minute, because, well, there's just a lot of standing water. We are just aquaplaning all over the place. But anyway, yeah, so I think we are going to be stopping probably at Donington services, I think, on the M1 just before we get onto the M42 towards Birmingham. So yeah, but yeah, so far so good. Amazingly, like, it's just amazing. Like, I've got the aircon on. We're driving at, well, we're back up to motorway speed now, and we're currently averaging 40.8 miles to the gallon. So yeah, like, I think one thing that really does help this car along is the 8-speed gearbox. Just because, like, say, if you had an M2, it's only a 7-speed, so you use a little bit more fuel even at motorway speed. But just that extra gear in the M240 does make a world of difference. So yeah, as I say, we're going to be stopping very soon. In fact, probably in about another 45 minutes or so. And yeah, amazing as well. Like the fuel gauge, I don't think the fuel gauge has even moved yet. So no doubt that'll change at some point along the way. But Jesus Christ. Hang on for dear life. Well, alright. But yeah, still looking good. Amazing. So, little update for you guys. We have just pulled in at Tamworth services. Good news is we've got coffee, which is most important considering we've still got 299 miles still to go. And I'm honestly really really surprised. We are still showing, as I say, 299 miles to go. We still have 400, I'll just show you on this, on my other GoPro here. But as you can see here, we are still showing 408 miles on the indicated range. Now, I do think we are going to get a little bit of traffic en route. Current fuel consumption, average fuel consumption, 42.6. As I say, considering that we only needed to average 37.8, wasn't it? So considering that we've gone way over that is amazing. So this goes to show really that if you put a little bit of thought into how you drive, I mean, considering, all right, I've not been flooring it or anything. The car's not even been in eco mode, and we've just been, for most of the time, we've been driving at normal motorway speeds. So, but I think the only really thing I've just been doing is just being easy on the throttle and trying not to brake unnecessarily. Basically, just looking ahead and just looking ahead and reacting early enough so that then you don't have to brake. So yeah, as I say, 299 miles still to go. So I think we'll now we've got coffee, which is good, and we've afforded a quick loo stop, which we've just done. So I think it's time to get back on the move and yeah, press on a little bit so we get some fuel. They'll never know, will they? Sit rep. Finally it has stopped raining. We're on the M5. It's about 2:10 in the afternoon, and yeah, the sun's coming out at last. Who would have thought that this morning? So where we're at now then. So we still have about 4 hours of driving to go, 253 miles remaining, and you won't believe this, like, I'm genuinely staggered. I'll turn my other GoPro on so you guys can see, but we are showing 43.7 mpg at the minute and 399 miles of range. Like, it's just staggering. Like, I didn't think that was actually possible for this car. Like, well, I suppose like saying a long run, I normally tend to put the car in sport all the way and put my foot down in places. Now, I did say yesterday that if I was to put the car in sport mode, that would be a bit of a step too far. However, I think if after the third stop, I'm planning to stop again at Gloucester services, which is a sort of, I'll explain a little bit actually in a little while. Because there's a little interesting little thing to tell you about Gloucester services, and probably stop maybe once again at Exeter. Then that'll be the two more stops that we have to do. So yeah, once we've done the third stop, if we're still looking pretty comfortable, then I will consider sporting it for the rest of the way. But yeah, still go remarkably well. Like 3 litre 6-cylinder engine, and it's doing nearly 44 to the gallon. And bearing in mind as well, I've been driving at 70 pretty much all the way down. I've had the aircon on. Obviously, I'm using electrical items in the, well, I suppose that's not really going to make much difference. But yeah, at the minute we're still going to make it to Land's End with about 150 miles left in the tank. So then that means, and just going by numbers, this car will achieve over 500 miles to a tank, which is just, remarkable, really, considering it's only got a 52 litre fuel tank as well. So anyway, I think we'll press on for a little bit, and yeah, I suppose I'll catch up with you guys once we've got to Gloucester services. Okay, just completed our second pit stop, 2 of 3. So, bear in mind, we've still got one more stop to do. Just realised Waze has stopped working. So yeah, just pulling out of Gloucester services now. Now, as I was saying earlier, Gloucester services is definitely one of the more upmarket services in the UK. I think there's only 2 or 3 of them like it. There's Gloucester, there's T-Bay, and I think probably one more thing. I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, if anyone's ever passing down the M5, it's definitely worth a visit. It's it's got proper food, so we're not just talking fast food or anything like that. It's got proper food, so you can have a proper meal while you're there. And it's got like a farm shop as well, so which is all local stuff. I'll try and add a few clips in for you now. Got a few of them while I was there. So anyway, where are we? How are we doing now then? So nothing's really changed much, apart from that we're still doing over 44 mpg. Current range is 387 miles still, and we are just about to hit halfway. We've done 204 miles, 223 to go. So yeah, we're about to hit halfway, and we've finally used a quarter of a tank. Now, if it wasn't for the other challenge, because I suppose you guys are probably sort of wondering, why did I actually choose Land's End as a destination? Well, that will all become clear in the second video, where I'm actually going down there for another challenge, which is an all completely different one, where I attempt to drive from Land's End to Lowestoft on the shortest night of the year. So yeah, basically the challenge is to leave Land's End at sunset and basically get into Nest Point in Lowestoft before the sun rises again. Why the hell are we braking? Cheers, pal. You've just made me brake unnecessarily. Now I'm now having to accelerate again. Thank you so much. So yeah, that's a whole completely different challenge. Really looking forward to doing that, which is going to be tomorrow. You guys probably be about 2 weeks before you guys see that, but yeah, I guess we'll press on. I'm planning one more stop. That's probably going to be at Exeter. And then I'm going to review the situation then, as I say, if we're still looking pretty comfortable fuel-wise, then I will add another rule and leave the car in sport mode for the rest of the journey. At Exeter, we're just pulled in here for something to eat because getting quite hungry, because it is getting, well, it's about 5:30 now. So right, so we have done 304 miles. We've got 124 still to go. As you can see, we still have I can't believe I'm saying this, just over half a tank and 269 miles of range. Like, if it wasn't for this challenge tomorrow, I would have actually turn around and actually see how far we can actually get home again before having to fill up. Oh yeah, when we get to Land's End, I'm not going to be going any further. We're definitely going to get to our hotel tonight, that's for sure. So of course, I said I wasn't going to use sport mode, but I've changed my mind now. Sport mode is getting engaged because I definitely have completely underestimated this car, like seriously. So yeah, we're going to be having it in sport mode for the remaining, it's about 2.5 hours now, so I'm not planning to stop anymore, but obviously if we need to, we will. But yeah, anyway, let's get back on the move again. Wow, well, what a difference sport mode actually makes. In just that 15 minute stretch, 10 or something miles, we've lost, since activating sport mode, we've lost about 55 miles just in that little bit there. So already that's made life a bit more interesting. So yeah, I don't know now. I mean, at the minute, based on numbers, we're gonna make it still. 214 miles to go, and sorry, 214 miles of range, sorry, and 103 miles left to run. But yeah, the gap, since putting the car in sport mode, the gap has definitely started to shrink. Well, that's typical. Just had another major downpour, but luckily the sun's coming back out again now, although a bit grey over there. So I was, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit concerned a few minutes ago because the difference between comfort and sport mode on this car is absolutely colossal. Like, I'm sure when we left Exeter services, I think we had something like 160 miles leeway, so I was going to arrive with 160 miles left, where that's now dropped to about 60. So we've lost 100 miles in a 60 mile stretch, I think. So yeah, that's just goes to show how much difference that actually makes. So yeah, I was a little bit concerned, but it seems to have, luckily, it just seems to have evened out a little bit now. So fingers crossed we can still make it. But it's saying we've got 4.3 miles left on this road. I imagine that's 4.3 miles before some kind of roundabout or something, I think. I mean, all is sort of not in the bag yet, I don't think, because the last little bit is like sequence of like roundabout, like 2 miles roundabout, slow down, re-accelerate again. So I'm not celebrating just yet, but I mean we're still looking all right, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, I mean if I'd left the car in comfort, we'd have just made it with probably over 100 miles left to spare. So, but that's not what I want to do. I want to make the video as tense as possible. So we are down to a quarter of a tank now. We've got 43 miles remaining and 106 miles of range left. So yeah, as I say, I'm not going to celebrate properly just yet, but yeah, I guess we'll just see what happens. Okay, so we are now just 7 miles away from Land's End. We've done 422 miles. We had a bit of a detour back there just because to get around some traffic. So that's not really affected us too much. So, well, the question is, are we going to make it? Well, as I said earlier, putting the car into sport made a massive difference to the range. The needle now is pretty much into the red. Got to be said. So yeah, 7 miles to go. But the question is, how many miles do we have left on the range? 73. So yes, we're going to make it. I did have one little moment. I did have my doubts for a minute, but I think once it evened out a little bit, it was all good then. I mean, amazing, really. I mean, if I'd put the car into eco mode, if I'd drove it as economically as I possibly could, the car would have been good for at least another 100 miles plus minimum. So remarkable, really. 3 litre 6-cylinder engine, and it's going to do it. It's going to make Land's End with probably a good 60 miles of fuel to spare as well. So yeah, I guess let's enjoy the last few miles. I mean, honestly, anybody who's down in Cornwall, do make Land's End on your places to visit list, because I've been a couple of times now. No, 3 times, sorry, and it is a remarkable place to visit. And even just the last little drive up there as well really is a lovely place to be. Oh man, speed bumps. Didn't want to see them. For that 1.6 miles away. And here we be.
1,000 feet. Turn left.
People are probably looking at me with popping exhaust thinking, what a knob.
How disrespectful of this piece of English history.
Sorry guys, unfortunately you can't see me because got around the corner and my GoPro decided to just die. Why have we got a random Corsa? What are you doing?
Turn left, then turn right.
Come on Waze, we're here. Well guys, that is how we do that. And 72 miles left of range. Not bad. So there we have it, 430 miles for a 3 litre 6-cylinder engine on just 1 tank of fuel, with 72 miles left to spare as well. Now, even more considering that, I just think that if I'd actually put the car in eco mode and actually drove it sensibly, would have had 100 plus, well, I think actually 150 plus miles left on the tank with this car. We'd have actually had, I think, quite a bit of fuel left to get back home again, which is just remarkable, really. So yeah, obviously I hope you guys have enjoyed this sort of thing. Now, of course, we are going to be back here as well in the next video. As I mentioned before, we're going to be racing the sun, or racing the rotation, or racing God with the M240i. We'll hopefully have a few other people here tomorrow as well doing exactly the same thing. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. And yeah, hope you guys are as well. So yeah, if you want to do more challenges in the future like this, guys, obviously do let me know. And yeah, really hope you've enjoyed this sort of thing. So if you have, guys, a thumbs up is always appreciated. Also consider subscribing for more stuff like this in the future. And if you do not forget to hit the bell icon, make sure to turn on all notifications so you don't miss out on a single thing to come to the channel. Okay, so until next time, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you look after yourselves, stay safe, and I will see you all very soon. Bye bye, son. Hopefully see you rise again. Yep, that's it.
Go, 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 go!
Yeah, already, God is playing dirty with us. We're in a contraflow. Jesus! Excuse my French, but Waze can go f itself. 1 hour to go, and that sky is definitely very, very pale blue. It's coming. She's coming back.